The Vision to Action Symposium series on sustainability in the built environment is an ongoing series of regional conferences that facilitate provocative, strategic conversations around bold, visionary initiatives gaining momentum in specific regions of the Pacific Northwest.
The following presentations are from the March 5th, 2015 Vision to Action Symposium at the University of Washington, Tacoma. The topic was Adapting to Low-Impact Development, the New World of Stormwater Management. In this video, Tom Kantz, Watersheds Unit Supervisor for Pierce County Public Works Surface Water Management, discusses a watershed-scale perspective on the effects of polluted stormwater runoff and describes his department's efforts using low-impact development to raise the grade on scores ranking overall watershed health. To see all 9 videos in this series, visit www.vision2action.us.
Thank you. I'm Tom Kantz. I work for Pierce County Surface Water Management in the Water Quality section, and I'm also on the board of directors for the Puyallup River Watershed Council. I was asked to talk about the intersection between low-impact development, watershed-scale thinking and management of stormwater and salmon recovery. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of review some of the stuff that we talked about in the first part of the meeting, and basically runoff increases with increasing development. And in this slide, you can kind of get an idea of what the general percentages are, at least in terms of magnitude. When rain falls in a more or less natural area, a forested area, you have a substantial amount of it that actually is transpired or evaporates off, and a substantial amount of it that infiltrates into the ground and ultimately groundwater. And then you have a smaller fraction of it that actually runs off. But in a developed area, you have a different percentage, of course, because you've got so much impervious surface that you actually have a tremendous amount of runoff and then a much reduced amount of infiltration. And with increasing runoff, you get increased pollution and flooding. And you can see that there are materials flow off the hard paved areas. They pick up pollutants that wind up in the water bodies. They are often untreated and just flow directly into creeks in the area that may be salmon bearing. And you often get erosion and flooding. You get altered flow regimes. And the impacts of stormwater can be quite dramatic on the aquatic biology of the stream. In this case, this is one example that's really egregious when you see it, is called pre-spawn mortality. What that causes is just immediate death of salmon before they can even begin to spawn. It is caused by pollutants and stormwater runoff. Art was talking about the research that's being done by Dr. Jennifer McIntyre at WSU Puyallup, and she has been able to show that if you run that stormwater through columns that mimic the soil and mulch characteristics of, say, a rain garden, then you can remove that toxic effect. But there are other impacts that are more subtle, that are not quite as obvious, and they have to do with impacts on just the general flow regime. And this is a paper that is referred to in the NPDES Phase 1 stormwater permit. That paper shows is that there is a negative correlation of flow metrics and these BIBI scores. BIBI is an index of the health of the macroinvertebrates, the little bugs in the creek. And so as you get these alterations in flow with increasing development, so higher pulse counts and so forth, then you wind up seeing a more and more unhealthy bug community. And so why do we care about that? Well, first off, it's an indicator of the health of the stream in general, but also those are the bugs the salmon are eating, so that it directly affects salmon in a lot of different ways. We're being required, Pierce County, as a Phase 1 permittee, we're doing a watershed-scale modeling, and I'll talk about that in a few minutes, where we're looking at those correlations between BIBI and stormwater flows. Pierce County manages water quality at a watershed scale, and we've been doing this for a number of years now. We produce an annual watershed health report card where we collect monthly water quality samples, and we do aquatic BIBI sampling, so we're able to talk about BIBI sampling. We produce the annual report cards and make them available online. We also have hard copies if people want to pick some up. We put the actual data on our public GIS website, so it's possible for general public to access it. We then use that data to make decisions and to essentially diagnose what's wrong with certain watersheds. This is what we refer to as the raise the grade approach, because we give each stream a letter grade. We're trying to raise the grade of a particular watershed. We were awarded an award by the National Association of Clean Water Agencies in 2013 for this program. What we do in our raise the grade approach is to focus on the watershed rather than individual parts of the watershed, for example. We try and get a holistic view. We assign it a project manager. We go out, work with the partners within the community, watershed councils, and so forth. We do more focused source control sweeps, stormwater facility inspections, and additional monitoring. We are currently working on 7 watersheds. One of them is the Spanaway watershed right there. In addition to this raise the grade approach, we're also doing watershed scale modeling, watershed planning through our NPDES permit. This is a requirement into the LID section of the permit. This is a map of the Spanaway watershed, and I'll kind of outline right here is Spanaway Lake. This, what kind of looks like a lake, is actually a series of wetlands on the JBLM property. The watershed boundary goes around and encompasses about a quarter to a third of the watershed is actually JBLM land. And you can see that there is quite a bit of development out here, and then very little bit of development, primarily forested environment here on JBLM. What we are attempting to do in our modeling is to look at different stormwater management scenarios, including LID, heavy use of LID, to try and achieve those BIBI scores that DeGasperi was showing, using those correlations. And as I say, it's a high bar, because what we're really trying to do is make rain and runoff in this area out here look like what would happen in here in the JBLM side. So it's not an easy task, I assure you. And there are other watershed studies that have been done in this area as well. King County has done a couple of really good ones. There's Juanita Creek watershed stormwater retrofit study, and then there's the Wyra 9 stormwater retrofit study as well. And essentially the take-home message from those modeling studies is that it's really, really costly to retrofit in order to achieve fish use and achieve those water quality standards that we want to achieve. And so for me, the message is it's really a lot more effective and cheaper just to start planning how you're going to manage stormwater before you even start doing the development of an area. Now, I've been talking about kind of that watershed scale, and certainly that's how I tend to think, is at that watershed scale, and most of you are probably thinking about the site development scale. I would encourage you to connect with some of the watershed councils in the area. There are 4 watershed councils in Pierce County: Puyallup River Watershed Council, the KGI Watershed Council, Chambers Clover Creek Watershed Council, and Nisqually River Council. You can get more information about each of them at our website, piercecountywa.org/watersheds. The watershed councils are focused on water quality, habitat, and flooding, and other watershed issues. What they do best is developing partnerships and sharing information among partners and with the community. And I just threw in some pictures here. These are from the city of Puyallup, one of the Watershed Council members, and these are stormwater retrofit projects that occurred in the city of Puyallup. They were partnerships between Pierce Conservation District, City of Puyallup, and Ecology. This one here was a neighborhood rain garden planting event that included an elementary school class that actually did many of the plant installations. And this one here is the 8th Avenue Northwest LID retrofit, and it's a rain garden planting that used about 100 volunteers that installed 2,700 plants. So, you know, kudos to City of Puyallup and PCD. And that's it. Thank you.